Hi, fifth grade. I hope you had a restful weekend. All right. Um, we're going to learn how to multiply decimals by 10. So let's think about this question. What happens to the digits of the decimals when it is multiplied by 10? Well, let's look at this example. Okay. So look at 12 times 10. So originally, 12 is just here, 1 in the tens, 2 in the ones, but 12 times 10 is 120. So the 1 moves here, the 2 moves there. Let's look at 1 times 10. Now 1 is usually just in the ones column, but then 1 times 10, it moves over to the tens column, and the 0 is in the ones column. Let's look here, 0.1 times 10. So originally 0.1 is written here, but when I multiply it by 10, the 1 just moves here. How about here? 0.12 is written here like this. 1 in the tens, 2 in the hundreds. And 0.12 times 10 is moved here and here. So what do you notice about the digits of the decimals when it's multiplied by 10? They move, don't they? They move one place to the left in the place value chart. Okay, so they move one place to the left, one place to the left in the place value chart. Now we can think of it like this. Okay, so we have 12 times 10, you know it's 120, right? 1 times 10 is 10. 0.1 times 10 is 1, according to the place value chart. And 0.12 times 10 is 1.2, according to the place value chart. Now, I want you to look at these whole numbers, 12, 1, and 1 here, okay? So the whole number 12 can be written as a decimal 12.0. The whole number 1 can be written as a decimal 1.0, okay? So I'm going to change those, okay, into 12.0 and 1.0, all right? Okay, so now that I changed it, when I multiply a decimal by 10, all I need to do is I need to move the decimal place one place over to the right. Okay, so if I move 12.0 and I move that decimal place right here, it becomes 120, right? Look at this, 1.0, and I multiply it by 10. I'm going to move that decimal point one place to the right, right here. That comes after 0. So then your answer is 10, which is 10. Same thing here. 0.1 times 10. Oh, okay, I have to multiply by 10. So I'm going to move it over by, I'm going to move the decimal point one place to the right over here. It comes after 1. So it's just 1.0. And here, 0.12 times 10. I'm going to take that decimal point, and move it over once. And so it'll be right between 1 and 2, so which is 1.2. Oh, not too bad, huh? So let's look at this example here. We have a table, and we're going to multiply these numbers by 10. Okay, and we're going to write the answer here in this spot. So look at 24.5. Okay, or if I multiply it by 10, I'm just moving the decimal place right here. It comes after the 5, so it's 245. What about 3.54? I'm going to move the decimal place one place over, which would be right between the 5 and the 4. So it'll be 35.4. All right, let's look at 0.136. If I multiply by 10, I'm moving the decimal place right here between the 1 and the 3. So it's 1.36. What about here? 2.079. I'm moving the decimal place right over here in between the 0 and the 7. So that's 20.79. And what about here? 42.05 times 10. I'm moving the decimal point right here, just one spot over to the right, and it'll be between 0 and 5. So it'll be 420.5. All right, now you try, okay? We're multiplying by 10 for all of these. So you know what to do with the decimal point, right? You have to just move it over to the right one time. Okay, give it a try. I'll see you soon. All right, let's try these together and check your answers. So 4.5 times 10 becomes 45. 0.56 times 10 becomes 5.6. 12.6 times 10 becomes 126. 0.027 times 10 becomes 0.27. 3.082 times 10 becomes 30.82, and 25.078 times 10 becomes 250.78. Woo! Not so bad, huh? Okay. All right. Now you try these. Okay, 7 through 10. Hey, how are you? You're back already. Okay, let's check these answers together. So we have 0.03 times what gets you 0.3. Well, I know it's by times 10 because if I notice here, if I multiply by 10 and I move that decimal point over just once, it's 0.3, so it's 10. Let's look here at 8. 57.3 times what gives you 573. I see the same digits, okay? So if I move that decimal place over once, oh, it gives me 573, so I just have to multiply it by 10. What about here? Something times 10 is 264.7. Okay, so since I have an answer here, I know then my answer, I'm going to look at the decimal point of my answer, and I'm going to go backwards 1 to see what I have to multiply by 10 to get 264.7. So that's 26.47 times 10. And I'm going to check it. Is 26.47 times 10 equal to 264.7? Let's see. If I multiply that by 10, the decimal point goes between the 4 and the 7. And yeah, that's exactly right. So it works. Let's look at number 10. 10 times what gives you 81.45. So then I know I'm going to look at my answer, and I'm going to put my decimal point back one spot because I'm going to multiply by 10 to get this answer here. So that'll be 8.145, but is 10 times 8.145 equal to 81.45? Well, let's check. Okay? So if I multiply 10 times 8.145, I'm moving the decimal place over to the right just once, and it'll be between 1 and 4. Oh, it works! Yay! Radical! Alright, now we're going to multiply decimals by tens. Notice it's plural. It's more than 1, right? So more than 110 could be like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on and so on, okay? So let's look at these examples here. Okay? It says you can break apart numbers to multiply whole numbers. So multiply 3 by 20. Okay. So this isn't with decimals yet, okay? So 3 times 20 is equal to, now it's the same thing as saying 3 times 2 times 10. That's the same thing as saying 3 times 20, right? It's the same thing as saying 3 times 20, right? Because 2 times 10 is 20, okay? All right, and now you can put the parentheses here, okay? And it'll be the same thing, 3 times 20, if we solve what's in the parentheses, okay? But this is the same thing as saying, if we put the parentheses here, 3 times 2, then we can multiply it by 10. Because we only have the operation of multiplication here, the order that we multiply doesn't matter, okay? So in this case, they just want to multiply 3 and 2 first, okay? Because it's in the parentheses, we're going to multiply that first. And so 3 and 2. 3 times 2 makes 6. Okay, let's highlight it for you over here on the screen. And then I'm going to multiply by 10, right? Because that's the leftover here, so times 10. And you know how to do 6 times 10. Okay, it's on the multiplication chart, right? It's 60, right? Now, we can also look at it this way. Okay, 6, the whole number, is the same thing as saying the decimal 6.0. And let's multiply that by 10. And to multiply by 10, what do I need to do? I just have to move the decimal place over to the right once. Okay? Oh, so if I do that, that actually equals 60 as well. So 3 times 20 is 60. Okay? And we can use the same idea to multiply decimals. Okay? So let's take a look here. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller so you can see. Alright. So we have 0.3 times 20, and that's the same thing as saying 0.3 times, and then 20 is 2 times 10, isn't it, right? So 0.3 times 2 times 10. We're just trying to figure out how many 10s are there, because we know how to multiply by 10, right? So we always want something multiplied by 10. So that's why I'm breaking it apart to see how many groups of 10s are here in 20, okay? And so again, like we said, order doesn't matter, but I know I want to do something times 10. So I'm going to put my parentheses around here so I can figure that number out, okay? The product here, the product times 10, okay? So 0.3 times 2 times 6, okay? And that's equal to 0.6, okay? And just in case if you forgot how to do it, you can just set it up like this, right? And if I have this, right, I'm going to do 2 times 3, which is 6, then 2 times 0, which is 0, then I'm going to drop the decimal point, so it's 0.6, okay? So now I have 0.6 times 10, and you know all you need to do is move the decimal point to the right once, and that will equal 6. So 0.3 times 20 is 6. All right, let's look at this last example. Okay. All right, so we have 0.33 times 20. I'm just going to make it a tad bigger. And so that's the same thing as saying 0.33 times 2 times 10 because 20 is 2 times 10. Okay. And so again here, I know that I can put, I'm going to do this so I can find the product times 10, okay? And so 0.33 times 2 is, let's take a look here, okay? So I'm going to do 2 times 3, which is 6, 2 times 3, which is 6, 2 times 0 is 0, and then I'm going to drop the decimal point, so 0.66. Okay? So again, when you multiply vertically like this, it's important to put the answers in the correct place value column. So when you drop the decimal point, it'll be in the right spot. Okay? So 0.33 times 2 is 0.66, as you can see on the screen over here. Okay? We're going to multiply by 10, and to do that, you're going to move the decimal place over to the right once, and it's between 6 and a 6, so it's 6.6. So 0.33 times 20 is 6.6. All right, so you're going to do the guided practice on your own. Every time I look at Steve Urkel, this is from that character up there. He's from a show called Family Matters, which is really, really old, but he just cracks me up. Just this one little. I always laugh, but anyways, please complete numbers 11 and 12 on your own and play the video when you're ready. Okay. All right, hey, you must be ready. So let's look at 11. Okay, 11 is 0.4 times 30. And you can rewrite that as 0.4 times 3 times 10, because 30 is 3 times 10. So you can rewrite it like 0.4 times 3 times 10. And again, your goal is to multiply something by 10. So I'm going to figure out the product of 0.4 times 3 first. Okay? So here, I'm going to do 4 times 3, which is 12. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Drop the decimal point, and is 1.2. Okay? Alright. So now 1.2 times 10 is what? Well, I'm going to just move the decimal point over to the right once, and that becomes 12. Right? Let's look at 12. We have 0.44 times 30, and that's the same thing as saying 0.44 times 3 times 10. And again, our goal is to multiply something by 10. So I'm going to put my parentheses around 0.44 times 3. Okay? And so you know then that value there is 10 on the screen. Okay? And so let's figure out what the product of the parentheses is. Okay? So 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 0 times 3 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Drop the decimal point, so it's 1.32. Okay. So 1.32 times 10, you just have to move the decimal place over to the right once. So it's between a 3 and a 2, so it's 13.2. So 0.44 times 30 is 13.2. Woo! Alright. Well, that's all for today. Please keep practicing and enjoy the rest of your day. Get some rest if you need to. Bye!